Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest issue of Retro Gamer magazine. I've finally got my tripod sorted, so let's go through the actual issue. Let's actually put it, that's a bit better. Okay then, so as you can see, we've got a few changes this month. New picture of me. This is our new staff writer, Nick Thorpe. This is our awesome designer, John Wells, and this is the guy who makes our words amazing, Stephen Holmes. And regular freelancers such as Martin Carroll, Paul Davies, Paul Drury. We've had a bit of a changeover simply because new member of staff, so we thought it was the perfect time to get everybody done. And let's go through the actual issue. So contents. Okay then, so this was obviously about the surprise news that John Carmack has quit it, and we've got a nice timeline of everything he's done with his career up to now. This is a guide to the new Retro Gamer website. You can check it out at www.retrogamer.net. There's lots of awesome stuff on there, including the ability to upload your own profiles. So be sure to check it out. This is Paul Davies talking about lastability in games, and you may have noticed that Ian Lee is no longer with us. So last month was Ian's last column, and you know, hopefully we'll do some collaborations with him in the future. So this is a look at the everything that happened in July 1980, and we've also got the same for November 96. And as you can see, things were starting to get exciting with Sony's PlayStation. Okay then, so coming up to our main feature, and it's basically looking at arcade races. So we were this basically looks at the entire evolution of the genre from the very early racing games like Nürburgring, Speed Freak, Night Driver, to obviously later examples such as Ridge Racer, and even later Sonic the Hedgehog Racing Transformed. So it's quite an in-depth interview. We're quite lucky actually. We've managed to speak to Alex Ward just before he left Criterion Games. We didn't actually realise at the time that he had left, and so this is like one of his first interviews since leaving EA, which is quite cool for us. And basically it's covering, we've revamped the Bluffers Guide as well, just so it's a bit more obvious what you're reading. We've got things like relevant terminology, infographics, essential games that all basically that you should play if you're into the racer, and what makes a good, in this case, arcade racer great. And special thanks as well to Alex Hood at Fun Central Arcade in Bournemouth for basically allowing us to go down there and run riot on the machines there. Okay then, so we carry on with our arcade racing theme with a look at the making of Metropolis Street Racer. A really cool racing game for the Dreamcast, which turned out to be the spiritual successor of Project Gotham Racer. And again, you can look at its own influences, and Martin and Sarah Chugley told us all sorts of fascinating anecdotes about the actual game's creation. This is Roy Fielden. He started off coding in the Commodore 64 demo scene, and he's now basically making Lego games. And this is our Activision piece. Activision is 35, is it 35? Or 45? Yeah, 35 years old. So later on in the year, so we thought it was a perfect time to sit down with David Crane and basically find out how it all happened, because believe it or not, but back in the day, Activision were a huge deal, and they were the first third-party publisher. Pretty much every single one of their games was a quality release, which some people would argue doesn't always happen nowadays. And they were just absolutely astonishing. And we thought we'd celebrate by basically looking at their entire Atari 2600 legacy, because the Atari 2600, or VCS, if you're in America, is where they started off. We weren't able to, well, I did cover every single game, but it was taking up so many pages that we had to cut the rest down to here. But I did play through all of them, Honest Governor, and if I find some time, I'll get the ones which didn't make the cut, I'll get them up onto the actual website. Continuing on, this is a look at R-Type for the Spectrum. Absolutely amazing conversion. And there's a really fascinating look into the actual game's creation on the website of, let me double check where it is so I can tell you, Bob Pape, and he's got it on, if you look for a website page called It's Behind You, the making of a computer game, and there's loads of fascinating insight into his stuff there. Really interesting guy who I'd love to feature in the actual mag. Okay, then moving on. This is really cool. I'm really pleased about this. Big props to Stephen McGarry of Sega for turning this around for us. It's basically a making of Altered Beast. Now, Altered Beast gets a bit of a rap because it's not deemed as an amazing scrolling fighter, but it was a pretty important one, and it had the cool beast transformations, it had the cool speech, and then we were lucky enough to speak to the creator Makoto Uchida, and he basically revealed some really interesting facts about it. Funnily enough, he's never actually seen the Mega Drive packaging because it never came out in Japan, and every time he went over to America he didn't get a chance to see it, and then by the time he did get a chance, the Sonic version was out. But anyway, it's all in there. And this is another cool Japanese exclusive as well. This is the Wonder Boys. This is a Westone retrospective, and they're best known for the Wonder Boy games, and we were lucky enough to speak to one of the co-founders, and Kurt Kalata of Hardcore Gaming 101 has done an absolutely fantastic article for us. So I'm really pleased with the way that's turned out, and you know, it's always nice to have cool Japanese exclusives in the mag. And I'm carrying on with the exclusives. This is a look at Mind Out, very old Spectrum game, which is said to be the predecessor of, well, not the predecessor, but one of the earliest Minesweeper games. And this is something else which we've done a little bit different. This is our Minority Report. Now, what we've done this time is, instead of focusing on a genre or an actual system, we focused on an actual location, and this is basically a whole bunch of Chinese RPGs. They range back from the early 2000s to the mid 90s, and some of them look absolutely fantastic. Highly recommended. Boarded Ashes, 30 years old, so we were lucky enough to speak to Peter Leaper, Richard Spatani, and various other developers who have worked on the franchise, and we've also got some exclusive cool stuff about the new iOS game, which will be out very soon, and you can see some of the artwork for it here. So quite a lot of exclusive this month. It's cool. And I'm carrying on with the awesomeness. This is UFO Enemy Unknown. Julian Gollop made this back in the day. It's a really good strategy game. Obviously, it's better known as XCOM, which has been rebooted going back about 1.5 to 2 years ago now. And Julian basically talks us through how the original game happened. Really fascinating piece. This is Lilac Wars, or Star Fox 64 as it's more commonly known in America, and this is basically looking at the best bits of the game, including this awesome moment where you fight off against Andros. Carrying on with the Atari love, we've got a piece on the XE, or the XE game system, as it's XEGS as it's more commonly known, and really interesting one. This is actually based on 8-bit. The Atari 8-bit architecture, and similar to things like the later Amstrad GX4000 and the Commodore 64 GS, they basically took this old machine, put it inside a console, and then started crying when it got steamrolled by the more modern and up-to-date NES. But it's a fascinating story nonetheless, and I definitely recommend that you read it. It gives you, I mean, I knew very little about this machine, and yeah, it's really interesting. We've actually got one at the office, courtesy of the guy who wrote this for us, Kieran Hawken. And yeah, it's just a really nice machine. This is detachable. You've got the cool joystick slots, but it just never took off. Okay, moving on. Our ultimate guide this month is another arcade classic, and it's Bomb Jack. So we do the usual thing where we basically look at all the gameplay elements of it, why it was so great. We look at all the actual sequels, and there was quite a few. And believe it or not, the Amstrad CPC version is one of the best one. And we've managed to interview the guys behind the GameCube version. And this is a look at sequels which came out, but they weren't actually arcade sequels. They were sequels which developers made themselves. So moving on, I'll try and speed this up because I appreciate I'm dragging this a bit. Unconverted this month is another special. Last month we had Capcom. This month we look at a bunch of Konami games. And then we've got an interview with Bagley. He's been working in the games industry for over 25 years. He's written some cracking Spectrum conversions like Cabal. He's worked on Striker, Hudson Hawk. He's recently bought out a game which has had its name changed on iOS to Apple Bob. It was called Apple Dash. Really interesting guy, lovely chap. I've met him on numerous occasions at various retro events. Absolutely charming bloke, and yeah, I'm really pleased with the feature. And as you can see, we've kind of spruced up the in the chair a bit as well, so it's a bit cleaner and easier to read. Okay then, retro rated this month. Oh, I'm not the thing there. Retro rated this month is a little short because, well, there was just lots of cool stuff to put in the mag. So we have looked at Killer Instinct, and we've also done a next gen piece on Resogun. Obviously, if we find games which we think are suitable on next gen consoles, we will be covering going forward. And a look at some of the cool 3D games which are available as well now. I'm finishing off with the Homebrew section, which has an awesome piece on the excellent C64 version of Bomberman, and there's an interview about how on earth basically Pitfall was released on the VIC-20. Is it the VIC-20? Yeah, it's the VIC-20. And that's the issue, as you can see. So quickly looking at next month, we've got a big piece on Strider. Providing I can get hold of all the people I want to get hold of for it. We've got a movie award system. We've got a 30-year celebration of Night Law, and we speak to the guy who goes by the name of Sir Galahad, who's basically responsible for bringing Putty Squad back after a 19-year delay. So that's everything for this issue. Streets of Rage 3, and that's it. So this is Retro Gamer. It should be on sale from this Thursday, and which will be the 6th, the 9th, and yeah, on 9th of January, but subscribers should be picking it up any day now. I'll be back with more videos for you very, very soon, guys. Take care.